Welcome, dear viewers, to a new episode of Dialogue Horizon. In this episode, we will continue our discussion with Dr. Yasser Al-Abeid about the economic situation in the country and the effect of the expected or the threats imposed by the international community to stop all kind of assistance and aid to Sudan. So what will this aggravate the situation? So I'm happy to host this episode with me, Dr. Yasser Al-Abeid, because we started 2 weeks ago. We talked about the economic conditions of the country and the effect on the normal, ordinary people who are now suffering from the skyrocketing prices of the commodities and sometimes the scarcity of the commodities. So welcome, Dr. Yasser Al-Abeid, in this episode with me, so that we can spend an hour or so to enlighten the viewers about the economic conditions and expectations if sanctions are again imposed on Sudan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Haras, for having me in this episode, and my regards to all people who are behind the cameras, and to all the viewers to Sudan TV.
Okay, so my first question, Dr. Yasser Al-Abeid, is about, regardless of the efforts and endeavors by all responsible or the people, the government, to alleviate the hardship of the people through the direct payments to individuals, which is the $5 per bed paid by the United Nations and the European Community and the World Bank. This, what is they call it in Sudan? Yes, Samarat. And other effort by the government to adjust the salaries, and regardless of all these efforts, still people are suffering from the scarcity and sometimes, and in most cases, from the skyrocketing the high prices of the commodities. Recently, even the fuel price is increased. So, what do you think? What's the reason for this, or what can other things can be done so that direct effect on the people will be felt?
Thank you. I think so. The problem of the Sudan economy is still the same problem which has been carried by a long time, and the efforts has been done in the Sudan economic, the external one, and with international community, with international institution, so of lifting the sanctions and the embargoes and whatever, and the economic problems. Still, that another part of that is still there. That financial side is still there. It's not been up to now being imposed because of the transactions and because of the transferring of the money, with transaction between Sudan and the international banks and with the correspondent and whatever. Still, that problem is there. It's not been up to now being released. Because OFAC is still having another restrictions on that side. But internally, we have a lot of effort should be done, or should be done on that. A lot of efforts should be there. But still, I think so, as we know that Tamarat, as you mentioned, so the exchange rate has been stable for more than 5-6 months, or 4-5. That's one of the goodness of these policies. But the policies is as such has not been very clear. We don't have a program, a specific program on that side, so that can solve the problem within the. We have to have a short program with a medium program, so we can solve the problem at least gradually. A short program for 1.5 year to 2 years, so that you can do some stability in some indications or whatever, like what happened in the exchange rate. Now it's stable for a while, but you have to do more effort. So if there is a program, so you jump to gradually to the steps. But up to now, the price of the dollar, because of the recessions, I think so that's what happened.
The commodities, but Dr. Yasser, what about the Samarat itself? It seems that from the application or the of Samarat is facing some difficulties. It's hectic because of lack of the data.
Yeah.
The personal data.
It's
The
true.
Samarat people, the management of Samarat, they say they don't have the database for the people, especially people not in Khartoum, outside Khartoum. So one of the reasons they say that the shortage of having adequate and sufficient data so that they can apply the Samarat project at full-fledged all the way. So this is one of the reasons that Samarat is yet people are not feeling, most of the people, they don't feel the effect of Samarat or the effect of the minor finance. Even banking systems, they were also advised by the government to go to help the small investors by the small or minor finance. So all of these efforts did not work well or did not have the expected impact on the people.
I think so. Samarat it came facing lifting the subsidies, and cannot feel that gap is a big gap on community and a big gap on people, on citizens and whatever. So the problem is little bit is so bigger, and the $5 cannot solve the problem for any of the people. And it came just like a gift from international community and from the international bank, but cannot solve the whole problems of the community and the people of Sudan. That is just part of, can just make a push on the life maybe for days. Because as we know, the soaring of the price, as you mentioned, is really one of the harming the people so much and harming the prices so much, and soaring is still continue on that, and without although the price of the dollar is stable, but still the price is jumping day by day, and the price is changing day by day, and it is one of the biggest problems. So that can also harm the programs. If you have a program, can harm the program on stability. So the stabilization of the indications, all of it, if the price, because when the price go down, because that's going to reflect on the inflation, and the inflation is going higher and higher day by day, and that's another problem. One of the biggest problem, in fact, on the economic, maybe the exchange rate, one of it, but the main sickness is inflation. Inflation is really one of the biggest problems. You have to make a program for how to reduce the inflation, at least for maybe.
So the inflation is definitely is not good. And what is the reason for the inflation? The reason for the inflation
There
is
are many reasons.
floating
Yes.
of the currency,
Yes,
or
yes, floating of the currencies, raising the salaries, the problem of the production and the productivity, the problem of the income of the export is not coming to the central bank or to the financial institutions, and so many smuggling for the currencies itself, especially in hard currencies, when you export the goods not coming back, the income of it, and that's a problem. In fact, there is many problems to come. You have to make a proper policies, at least to solve this type of the problems. Otherwise, without short program, you have to form a short program. So at least to solve these problems or this type of problem, at least to target the strategic commodities, target strategic exports, and you have to at least to make some of to increase at least the production in agriculture, in mining, in whatever, so that you have to also to monitor the export itself, because as we know that the gold now is going without any income of it to the treasury and to treasury and also to the central bank. Another problem also of expatriates also still up to now. There is a lot of smuggling, and there is a lot of speculation in that one between them and between the traders inside, and they have to smuggle the national currency with the international currency.
Okay,
That's another problem. That's one of the biggest problems. So that one, it needs a program. It needs at least emergency program. So you have to form a emergency program or a shock program, so can solve this problem, at least to put the problem in one square, so that you can solve the problem. Otherwise, we leave it like that. You solve one by one. It should be comprehensive program. Otherwise, also cannot solve it. You solve the problem of the hard currency and increasing the dollar and whatever, and you leave the inflation, you leave the prices, you
They
leave
call it firefighting, like the
and we need the
firefighting.
confidence in our banks and in financial. That's a problem even now. That's another challenge. So if you are not going to return the you are not going to return the confidence to our institution, the financial institution, you will never solve the problem, because there is a lot of money outside. There is a lot of smuggling of that type of the transaction, which is being done by these expatriates and the traders here. So there is buy and selling the.
Okay, so that is a good. This leads me to my second question about the positive, as you mentioned, the positive thing in the economy is that the currency value now is stable for about 5 months or so. It's almost stable.
Yeah, true.
Don't you think that this will make it more stable if the government or any system or policies that encourages the expatriates, the Sudanese in the Gulf area, because the value, the floating of the currency, the present value of the Sudanese pound should encourage the expatriates to make more transfers to the economy directly, like any other country, like the Egyptians to their country, like the Ethiopians. Ethiopians and Egyptians, the economy, they depend on the expatriates in Kenya. So why the governments failed? I mean, governments for quite a long time failed to attract the foreign money of our Sudanese expatriates in the Gulf area or in any other country. Why?
One of the biggest challenge for the vision, which is going to form the program, at least the short program or the mid program, that type of the policies which is not going to encourage those people, Sudanese people whom are abroad. So you have how to attract their money inside. The main problem, the confidence is not there, the trust is not there. That's the main problem from the central bank to our institution, in the banks and another institution. So they don't trust that. So if they want to transfer their money here, so they want to leave it in their account. Anytime he wants to withdraw the money, he can take that one, he can leave it, he can. That one, you know, the policy is changing from time to time. It's really putting a lot of problems in and trust for our institution.
Don't you think
and the confidence also, it's not there. We have to form policies at least to attract them, at least to give them confidence, and to give them at least package of interest.
What about the efficiency of the banking system?
The banking system is
not very efficient. People are suffering.
It's true, it's not efficient because nobody is trusting them, because even their capitals and whatever, and the central bank himself itself also doesn't have that reserve there can solve the problem of any bank. Any bank maybe can get a collapse or get bankrupt. Even that's another problem. So you cannot put millions of money or millions of dollars without getting the trust from where you are putting your money, because money is
not only this, Dr. Yasser. Also, I'm talking about even people like me and you, when you receive some notification from your son or sister or daughter abroad that you have, I send you money through, let us X bank. When you or me or any other person goes to the bank to collect the money, he faces hard time of routine and delays and queues. So the next time he will tell his son or her son, please don't transfer through banks, transfer through the other the parallel market.
It's true. That is normal. That was going now. In with the people now. As we know that the one of the main challenge in any visions or strategic, that the trust is missing, and confidence is not there. And nobody can trust the bank now, or he can take his money in, even his $100 or $1 or $2. So you have to trust that. You have to put the trust in the banks, because the problem now is not from the banks even themselves. Maybe the bank is the central bank and the whole policies for the country, for the economic policies. It's not there, because when they put that in the budgets or you put it there in any policies that is being issued by the central bank, the problem is still there, and nobody can trust the bank. So how can we return return the trust to the banks, we can return the trust to the central bank, as you mentioned, like Egypt, like Ethiopia, like China, like India. It needs a lot of efforts. It needs a lot of it because we have a lot of money outside abroad. Maybe more than 30 billion US dollars outside is being around, moving around the countries of the neighboring of Sudan. So we have to look for a proper program. How can we put it? And we have to put them, give them the trust, 100% trust, even it is through the courts, through whatever, through the international bank, and at least can secure the money. We have to look for a solution for that.
Yes, I tell you one thing very important. Now I remember. Now people started losing the nationalistic.
It's true.
The nationalistic enthusiasm to the country. Ethiopians, I tell you one example. Do you know that? Yes, of course you know. The GERD, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, which is causing all of this problem. Ethiopians, the government also got some finance, but most of the finance got it from the people, from the expatriates, by paying
by donation,
paying bonds. So they are shareholders and stakeholders on the GERD, the dam itself. So this now Sudan we lack this nationalistic, maybe as you said because of the political upheavals and up and down, political affiliation. So people they are no more enthusiastic to help Sudan. That's why they go the shortcut. Somebody called you at home, your son in Saudi Arabia, for example, send you money, come, I will come. He comes at knock the door and give you the money.
Yeah. And in fact, this also send a lot of signals, bad signal to the not even internally or in our people or in the nationalistic and whatever. It's even sending a very bad signal to the international community and to the FDI, or foreign direct investment, who foreigners who they want to invest in Sudan, and even the companies, international companies, the national companies, and even the banks themselves. Even when there is no trust on that one, on our institution. Definitely, this one is going to at least send a very bad impact on that, and we're going to lose. Otherwise, even as we know, the political arena also, that's another issue also. That's one of the issues which will have to be solved immediately, because if you are not going to solve that problem, you will not solve the security side of the country. You're going to solve the problem of the political issue, and that one also is connected together, because you can't solve the problem of the economy without going to the stability of the economic stability, political stability, and security stability, and all the national security stability also. That one is another issue. So we have to look for a solution, and we have to come together, all of us, for discussion, for at least for talks. We solve the problem, and we go to the economic. At least we put up our program, short program, to the medium program. So at least we solve the problem. We leave at least the people to at least to enjoy at least part of these procedures and these policies.
Okay. Having said that, you talked about the political stability,
Yes,
which
true.
is the part and parcel of the economic.
It's true.
Both they are integral parts
100%.
of one thing.
Yeah.
Okay. This takes me directly to the question of the imminent threat facing the economy of the country. Really imminent threat facing the economy of the country, on the condition, on the likelihood of imposing sanctions, economic sanctions again, by America, by the World Bank, by the European community. Now they said it, and they continue saying that unless Sudan goes back to before the 25th of October and make sure that there will be transition to democracy, they are going to impose sanctions which will take us back to the era of 1997 or 2000, where sanctions were working at full-fledged level. And now, at that time, Dr. Yasser Abed, I want to remind you before you answer, at that time, the government, the hostage regime, managed to survive the sanctions because at that time, Sudan or the regime was enjoying the full benefits of exports of oil. Till that time, Sudan was one, not separated. Till 2011, after separation. All these years, the revenue from the export of oil was coming to the regime, the Osset regime.
Yeah.
So that's why they tolerated the sanctions, and people did not feel the brunt of the
oil.
sanctions. After 2011, after the cessation of the South, and we lost, the North lost 75% of the oil proceeds, things, the economy started to deteriorate till it became one of the reasons that ousted this Al-Bashir regime.
Yeah.
Now we don't have this
Yeah.
advantage.
Yeah.
We don't have oil, we don't have this. So can you tell us what is your feeling if sanctions are again put on the economy at this time, this critical time?
You know that the situation in the region now is really in the Central Africa, in the west of Africa, in the Red Sea and in the Horn of Africa. It's really not stable, as we know that in Ethiopia, in whatever, in, um, in Chad or in Libya or Southern Sudan, so in Eritrea. So the problem is really became now so much. As you know, as you remember from Blinken, the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Nairobi yesterday talks about this. It's because the stability, which has been going to affect all the, in Ethiopia, is going to affect all the region. Sudan at this time should not be in problem, because I think so the international community and USA, they want Sudan to be stable at least, with democracy, with transitional democracy, with civil at least
Governance.
yes, governance and whatever. So that one is very important for the international community, because the stability of Sudan is very important at this time. Imposing the sanction, I think so what is being now threatened by the international community, Sudan is being threatened by that way. Me, I don't think that's going to be the same way of 19s and 2000s. I think it's going to be a little bit different, because now still they having they're coming back. If you come back to the transitional democracy and whatever, so maybe they're going to release part of the donation and part of the assistance. But also we have to be very careful on that. The international community sometimes also is playing with words and whatever, and we have to also to all not to concentrate 100% or just on international community. We have also parallelly we have to go internally and externally. So at least, and political wise also we have to be very careful also. We're not going to leave the things like that. The international community is calling for civilian governments, or calling for whatever. That one should be considered on our internal, and we have to look for talks at least, or conference, emergency talks and emergency discussion with all parties and all community in Sudan. At least we solve the problem. Otherwise, we're going to be in problem, because the revenge and whatever and the healing in Sudan, which is going now in the political arena, is not going to solve the problem, because as you know that political arena is really very interrupted now. So we have to look for a solution. At least we are not going to solve the problem of the economy. Impossible. You can't.
No, I mean,
Very
okay,
difficult.
okay. Let us. My question exactly. Let us assume that, and they will do it. Let us assume that they impose the sanctions, and because, as you said, they want to make sure that Sudan goes smoothly to transition to democracy, because they don't want two headaches at the same in one region. Ethiopia already,
It's true.
as you know, already Ethiopia is spinning out of
Because
control.
of refugees going to go to Europe or whatever. That's
So
what
they will not tolerate. So do you think if they go for imposing these sanctions on Sudan, as an economist, will the effect be very bad to Sudan economy?
Definitely there is bad effects. Definitely there's going
Because
to be
they
bad.
don't have, by the way, also the Americans, they neutralized. This is a very important political issue. They neutralize those who are supposed to help you to bridge some of the gap, like the Gulf area, the rich areas. They are now at least neutralized.
It's true.
Not necessarily to be this side or that side, but they cannot give a helping hand. When sanctions are imposed, they cannot deflate or de-inflate the pressure of the sanctions by having some assistance. So the effect will be bad.
Gulf and the international community are connected together. So they can't release you also without even the agreed, or they don't agree by the international and United States of America or European Union. So there is a lot of connection between the Gulf and those international community, and there is many interest between them. So we are not going to at least to put a lot of hopes in the Gulf without putting hope in international institution. But also myself, I'm still saying also maybe they impose but there is going to be a lot of bad effects on that. Going to be a lot of problems in Sudan because we have passed
To the people.
to the people
It will go
themselves.
directly to the people.
But another maybe other voices even in the United States of America they're talking about the if you're imposing the extraction in Sudan, it's not going to affect the government and the official and the decision makers. They're going to affect the people. This time maybe they're going to do something else. Maybe they're going to impose the instruction for individuals or whatever or all those in
No, no, no. I disagree with you because Dr. Yasir, because these people, the mentality, I know it. I've been in America a
Yeah,
long
I've been
time.
there, I know that.
The mentality is that no, they have that you put pressure down to the level of the people because the people are supposed to.
It will take time, my dear, this one. My dear,
it-
might
it's
take
a-
time. It might take time.
It
And
took
there is
time,
no
but
time
it-
of taking time of that. Maybe might take 10 years, 15 years. So
They care less
another
about that.
pressures in that one, it might take, maybe it's going to be in their strategics. They want to solve the problem after 10 years, 15 years. They don't mind. But here internally, there's going to be a lot of problems for people. You know,
Yeah,
as
so
you
the
know,
people-
how they're
what-
going to
what-
suffer,
what-
especially in technology. We have been out of the technology for almost more than 30 years or 20 something years, and we have been in the education, in health, in whatever. So that's another issue. So we can't get a spare pass for our jets and planes and whatever and railways. That's another problem. So now the railways now is being destroyed completely. Jazeera scheme also is another problem. Whatever is also like Sudan Airways, like technologies like in the sugar companies. We have a problem. Really, there is a problem. Going to be a problem. So how can we penetrate to the international community, to the national institution? How can we go to the technology? How can we attract the technology? How can we attract the FDI? Can we attract
Yeah.
portfolio investment? That one is going to be also going to block the whole. Sudan is going to be like that until maybe another also 50 years like that. Unless we have to solve the problem all of us together.
Internally.
Yes, internally we have to sit together all of us. We must.
But you know, Mr. Dr. Yasir, we have this time, we have to take these people seriously. We have to take previously the Ottoman regime, because as I said, they have the money.
Yeah.
They did not care about the sanctions, and actually sanctions were not very, very effective. But it became effective after the losing 75% of the oil.
Oil is true.
Now we don't have oil, we don't have export, we are in deep trouble.
It's true. We have
Okay,
only
even the
25%.
ex finance minister, Jibril, he said it will be something catastrophic. This is well.
Absolutely.
Because at this time, so that's why I'm saying we have to take these people serious at this time. We don't have to make any assumptions which might backfire, and the whole thing will collapse. Okay. Now let us go to another question, Dr. Yasser. What do you think about the banking system? Some people, the banking system in Sudan is receiving some criticism from many people and many finance people. They consider the banking system of Sudan is still primitive. It's not
true.
coping with the dynamics of the international banking system. What do you say about this?
In our vision, what we are saying, a strategic vision or a program, the main challenge, the main problem, if you are not going to, maybe the first step, the stability, the economic stability of the political stability. So you come back to at least to go to the total demands and whatever. So I have to solve that one. So you come back to the third. Maybe you come to the banks and whatever. The banks is really is facing so much challenges. As you know that the bank is very primitive and very traditional. In their transaction, their internal procedures, and the bank is really about capital itself. Even capital is another issue and the biggest issue. Most of the banks is really very poor, so that cannot solve the problems of the investment, cannot solve the problem of the internal trade, at least to the investment. It's really working with 2-3 customers, and that enough. So it cannot solve any problems. They cannot go with the developments in any type of the sectors, in agriculture, agriculture or can contribute in mining sector. They can't. They don't have that capital to do that. So we have to do at least the integration of the banks. One of the important to increase their capitals. Also another issue, at least internally and externally also to increase to look for partners outside. The knowledge in the banks is really very poor also. Our banks facing also another problem of knowledge, of modern knowledge in financial system. So that the financial system in the world now is became very advanced now. Through the Basel 1, Basel 2, Basel 3, now we are facing Basel 4. And therefore also that's how we have to look for a solution in how because we don't have even training centers for the staffs. That's another issue. That the staff, they are very, I don't want to say that the staff are primitive, but it's still very traditional. Very traditional. They're very behind.
Okay, Dr. Yasir, what about this one?
Most of them, my dear, is they don't know how to do the credit letter for credits, the procedure of letter of credits, how to know the
basic banking system. Okay, what about the applications? Some people, they say, some of the criticism comes to the banking system that the introduction of some of the applications, it added to the effect of the inflation. It added positively to the inflation, because inflation, as you said before, if you give people more money, for example, if you increase salaries without any other remedies, it will make the prices of commodities increase, and this is inflation.
Yeah.
Now the application also no money, but physical money not in hand, but it's still money and the people they buy. So the criticism comes that these applications, I don't want to name application, all banks in Sudan, each and every bank has application and a card, a smart card, by which you can go to the grocery, go to the supermarket, and then buy without having a single penny in your pocket. You buy quite a big number of commodities, and you just insert the card, and is it increasing the effect of the inflation?
It's true. This is one of the main problems in Sudan now at this time, because if you go at least to the neighboring countries in Africa, you'll find now the cash and whatever now is part of it is maybe around 80% is being now dropped now. So the electronic payment, this is one of the modern financial system now. So that one also can reduce the inflation, as you mentioned, Mr. Haras. So that can reduce the inflation so much, and we know that the inflation now is increasing so much now. So you can't just carry the money like that at this time. And the problem with the awareness of the people now is really not more than 15%. They are just dealing with this banking system. If you go to maybe most of the applications now maybe in other banks, I don't want to mention the banks, but most of it is still poor. Maybe a lot of traders now, they don't deal with that type of things. Still, the awareness is very poor. The awareness is not that people, they don't trust these systems, and they don't trust this type of transactions. Maybe you can find someone who has a lot of billions of money and do a lot of transaction, but he doesn't know how to use this electronic by mobiles or by laptops or by computer. So that one is another issue also. We have to, I don't know how we're going to solve the problem, but still the problem is there. The awareness is a little bit very poor and very behind. And this one can solve a lot of problems, because this is one also can attract the money to the banking system. So the goodness of that system, financial system or the electronic system, so it's going to attract all the money going to be in that 80% or 85%, which is now is being transacted outside the banks and going to be exploited outside the bank, and that one can attract the money gradually with confidence in the banks, with awareness at least. So at least the banking system is really one of the problems, is very idle, is sitting in the offices and not going to the traders in their places. So they can solve the problem even to the traders, can send one of the staffs, he can help those type of businessmen and traders and in their places. So how going to do this one, do that, and we're going to give you the receipts. This is your money has already been deposited in your account. That one, the banks is really, I don't know, that is the knowledge there. It is really very poor. There is no type of modernity in their mind, so that how to attract the money. And central bank should also do that one by training system to the people, to the traders, to the businessmen in the trade arena or whatever. But if we leave it like that, it's going to still the problem.
So ideally, you are as if you are saying that the applications are good because
Definitely.
at least they reduce the mass, the monetary mass, which is a very important and very delicate issue in any financial system. As far as I'm not an economist, but they say that the critical, the mass, to calculate how much money you print, you make it circulated among people. This is very critical, and it has difficult criteria and formula to come to the right mass. For example, economy like Sudan, maybe say we have to print, let us say 300 trillion pounds, which are supposed to be enough for the circulation. But as you know, this mass, most of the mass, almost 50% of the mass is circulating outside the banking system, in what is called the hidden economy. So you are saying that it should be, if it is done properly, it should be a good thing.
We attract the money from outside, because we have a problem also in comprehensiveness of the financial comprehensiveness in the banks. It's not being imposed in the banks, because this is why 80% to 85% of the money is being transacted outside and being circulated outside and being transacted. That's an issue. Who is responsible about that one? The Ministry of Finance. First of all, the central bank and the bank and all the financial institutions and the Ministry of Finance. If we are not going to do that one, and Ministry of Communication, we're going to do the applications, and going to at least to do some. So we have to look for a way. That's also part of it is our confidence. So how can we impose the confidence, put the confidence in the bank, the trust in the banks? Also, we have to train our people there in the banks, all the staff, the bankers there should be trained well. So they have to go to the like India now. Most of the small traders, they don't come to the bank. The bank goes there and give them take the money, give them the receipt, deposit the money in the bank. That's part of the efforts. So we have to put more efforts in
this
our
direction.
Banking system.
Okay, Dr. Yasir, now we move to another issue, which is, as you also all mentioned, everybody knows that Sudan at this time is in a very critical situation, a very fluid governance, a very fluid situation where there are no cabinet, no council of ministers, and a lot of differences, political differences, so that I came to know that the budget of 2022, which is supposed by now to be drafted and cleared, because now we have only 1 month, almost 1 month and a half till the new year comes. So maybe, as I hear that the 2022 there will be no budget. Is that true, Faris? And if it is true, what is the effect of starting a year without a budget?
It cannot be, I think so. The budget should be there, because the budget normally is being put by the undersecretaries and his staff and all the departments which is concerned on Minister of Finance and the rest of.
Who passes it? But okay, the undersecretary.
That's a challenge. That's going to be the challenge.
No government.
That's going to be the challenge, because there's no government. There's a lot of space in that and a lot of problems. So who's going to at least there is first reading and second reading and whatever. That's another issue also. Who's going to do that one? Who's going to endorse it and who's going to approve it?
So what will be the effect if
it's going to be a disaster, by the way. It's going to be a problem. So without no government can go without not even leave the government. Even yourself, if you have a salary, if you are not going to make it at the budget, you will not budget it. You're going to be facing a problem. Leave the country, all the country now, because you have a defense problem, you have the security problem, you have the economic problem, you have financial problems, you have health problem, you have the education problem. That is another. Most of it is a problem. Because most of the institution, officially, or the government institution like the universities and schools and whatever, it needs also the budget for the staff, for the teachers and whatever, and for the how to operate. Running the health is another problem. Security is another problem. So you have to have, I think,
budget.
the budget should be at least, you have to look for a solution.
So
Because we have only 1 month is remaining.
we are short of
One
time.
month, 1 month is remaining. It started from last government and last time, and still the problem is there because nobody is going to maybe approve it. Maybe we don't have many council of ministers. If they're going to be formed at least quickly, maybe within this week, at least maybe it can come budget. Maybe not going to be full and
Provisional.
write it.
They can make some provisional budget or
It's
whatever.
going to be a problem, all right. It's really going to be.
It's a big problem.
If I come minister today, I need a lot of things at least to put my hands in things, a lot of things. So to approve it, how to sign it, how whatever, how to send it to the cabinet of ministers is
And to distribute it to the different
to
departments
distribute it at
so
least,
that they start on the 15th of January as used to be.
releasing
Release the new budget.
releasing the payment and whatever. So that's another issue also. Because 15th of January is not far, maybe 1 month and whatever,
Yes, yes,
1.5 months. It's not that
So you
far.
think it's a problem? It's a big
It's a problem. It is a problem. It's a problem for the budget.
the country.
Minister of Finance, I think so. There is and the secretary there. He is one of all the staff in Minister of Finance, but himself, maybe alone, it's difficult for him to do that.
And it has to be passed, by the way, the budget of aid, any country's budget, even in the democratic system, the proper democratic system, when the budget sent by the government is not passed by the parliament, automatically the government falls.
And there is problem of revenue now at this time. Still is the problem of these 2-3 months is maybe there is a problem of revenues, collecting the money from the other department. Yes, still there is. We think so. It is very slow and very hard now collecting the revenue because most of the ministry is not working with full. Institution is not working with full power, at least to collect the things like tax revenue.
So the expected revenues, they maybe till this moment, usually it is set by the different departments,
yes,
like the customs,
Custom.
like the taxation, like these.
That is another issue. Is a big challenge. One of the biggest challenges they have to look for solution at least
This is very serious.
to try to solve the problem because this problem, wherever government is going to come, we have to have a budget. We have to have because this is people life, this is country life, this is the future of the economic life. We have to solve the problem.
Actually, this is the essence of governance. The governance is the blood, like the blood, the government.
That is missing, in fact, the governance.
So,
what is missing now in Sudan because we are just working day by day income.
This is very serious.
Even in the government, we do the same also. If one of the official go somewhere, things cannot move because of we are missing a lot of governance in our institution.
Yes, this is a problem. Okay, let us a little bit past this sad or this unfortunate news about the budget and about the sanctions, all of which the effect is very catastrophic, definitely, to the ordinary people, to the government, to everybody. The effect of either the imposition of sanctions by the world community, different parts of the international community, and lack of governance now in Sudan, no government, and the approach of the end of the year without budget, all these are sad and unfortunate. But let us just give some hope and talk about the resources. They say that Sudan is full of resources, of mineral resources other than gold. Other than gold, as we, like, for example, the titanium, like the chrome, like the copper, like iron, like let us say anyhow, a lot of minerals in Sudan.
Let me
What
tell you very
are the reasons, other than gold, what are the reasons why people are not paying attention to this very important resource?
There is a problem of knowledge of those miners, which are just concentrating on gold and leaving the rest of it. The industrial minerals, which is very rich and very easy to at least to mine, like industrial minerals like bozalana, like kaolin, like potassium, like whatever. So most of it now, maybe potassium is not. Potassium is going to the agricultural side, and with this, there's plenty in different states in Sudan, and it's easy even to explorate there, and it's easy to do the mining in that side. But nobody he knows that side. Like even chromite also is one of the easiest. Only rocks, you take it and just you send it to export and to do it that way. The main problem, the gold, is taking all the efforts now. And the problem of the gold is easy to smuggle, easy to take it, to store it in your places. Nobody can know, nobody can follow it. But the other resources which is in Sudan, I think so, if we at least we concentrate in this year, in our program, at least we target 2-3 minerals, especially the industrial minerals, we can solve part of the problem of the economy. If you go to agriculture the same way, we concentrate in at least one crop. At least we can do at least in any, maybe in sorghum, in whatever, in maize, in any of the whatever. So we can solve the problem. But we don't have a strategic vision. So to target at least for the next year, we want to target. We need only to at least to plant this year, maybe sorghum only, maybe maize only, maybe wheat only, maybe cotton only. So you have to look and study the international prices, international markets, so we know what is the best way for this year. We can export maybe melon seeds, or maybe whatever we can consider on it. And minerals also is one of the main. We can target also another issues for export. So a lot of missing of visions in Sudan. That's a big issue. Now Ministry of Mining, now it is really very behind now at this time. I don't think can solve the problem of any part of these minerals. They don't have a vision.
Okay.
They don't have a vision,
These are big
proper
problems.
vision, how to target part of the minerals at this time, at least with the easiest minerals. If potassium, at least if you at least target the potassium, which is in Darfur, in the south of Kordofan, in north, that one, it can solve all the problems of agriculture in Sudan. All the problem of the agriculture, is part of it is in using it in sugarcane farms. We use it a lot of whatever. So it is easy to mine even. It's not that difficult. It's not that complicated like gold. So you have to look for
So
solutions.
this is very good. This takes me directly, Dr. Yasser Al-Ubaid. This makes me directly to the integral part of this mineral, which is the industry. Actually, all these are minerals, or the value is very low. So you have to add value to these minerals so that you can get money, foreign money. But now people are talking that the industry in Sudan is not like what it was in the 70s and 80s. Almost there is no development. It's not developing, no development. Only the beverages and food industries, these are slightly flourishing. But the industry, real industry, which we used to have, the industry of oil seeds, the oil, edible oil for eating, and the cotton, textile, these all died. Now we don't have it.
It's true.
So what's the way out so that we can make use of the minerals which you talked about? Because these minerals, they need some kind of processing or industrialization.
The main problem of industrial ministry and the economic ministry, it has been isolated from each other. That's the main problem. So you can't solve the problem of economic of any country, and most of the sectors is working beside the others. You have to look backwards and forwards. What agriculture needs from minerals, what industries need from minerals, what minerals need from agriculture, what minerals need from industry. So we have to look for a vision together, complete consolidated vision, so we can know what is the strategic of Minister of Industry needs in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Maybe in potassium, maybe in magnesium, maybe in whatever, in any one of the industrial, whatever, in our cement. So look at the agriculture. What needs from, maybe it needs the potassium, from them, so they can solve part of the problem. If the sugarcane, they imported a lot of potassium, for example, from outside, and that one also is another issue. So you have the potassium inside here in Sudan, and we can solve the problem, and you can just mine it without. So we need a vision at least for this 4 or 5 ministry to sit together with Minister of Finance should be there. At least they put a vision or for 2 years. I'm sure 100% these 4 ministry, if they put the vision, I'm sure 100% we can solve the problem of the economy.
Okay. Dr. Yasser, you have only the last question for you, which as an economist, I want you to wrap up and to give us your own personal advice of how can we overcome the current very precarious, very dangerous situation. What is your advice and aspiration and recipe? Call it a recipe.
My
In 1 minute.
My aspiration in this problem, we have to look for problem. We have to solve the political problems. We must solve the political.
Where is the political problem?
Political problem and maybe also security problems are part of it. So we at least we take the community also in talks. At least we have to we take at least the revenge and the revenge and the healing from our community, because that's another issue. We have to look for a solution. When we solve these problems, at least we go for transitional justice. So we also, that's part of it, is we have to look for peace in all the countries so we can solve the problem of the economy with a vision, proper program.
Thank you. You said you want peace,
Yes.
reconciliation, governance,
Yeah.
transition to the
Reconciliation is very important. Yes.
So that we can overcome the difficulty. Thank you, dear viewers, for being with us in the last 50 or so, or 1 hour, with our economist, Dr. Yasser Al-Ebaid, talking about the economy of the country and the expectation and aspirations and the threats of losing or imposing another sanctions in Sudan by the international community. Thank you, dear viewers. We hope to see you next week in a different issue. Thank you and bye.